very powerful. If I was to ask 5 of your friends, what is Nir's superpower? What is that one thing that allows you to do all the things that you're able to do? If they had to nail it, what would they say?
Wow. Well, now and I hope it's that I become indistractable. I mean, that's really the superpower I would want. Because I think that is a macro skill, right? If you can do that, if you can do whatever it is you say you want to do, that's incredibly powerful. And so that's the skill I'm working to cultivate. I think that if there's another thing I pride myself on that I really enjoy is the ability to simplify complex concepts, right? I really enjoy teaching something that blew my own mind, right? I love those moments of clarity where you say, wow, I used to look at things this way. I was convinced that that's the way things worked. And now, oh my gosh, they're completely different, especially when it's a non-conventional view. So Benjamin Franklin said that when everyone is thinking the same way, no one is thinking. And I think there are so many things in society that we just don't question. That everybody's thinking the same way, and that's where I have a lot of fun, is explaining these complex concepts in a way that, wow, I see the world differently, and hopefully others enjoy that as well.
Yeah, that's good. What was the best day of your life and the worst day of your life?
Oh my goodness. The best day of my life and the worst day of my life. I need to think about that one. That's a tough one.
What about a best day or a worst day?
So recently we launched the Indistractable in New York, and I didn't have a launch party for Hooked because I self-published it. So it kind of happened slowly. But with Indistractable, it was a big book launch party, and I'd kind of seen these in movies before, like an author with the published part. And today I don't really get nervous on stage anymore, but I really got nervous at my book launch party because I had people there from high school, from college, from business school, from friends I'd collected over the years, author friends, and just looking out at these folks, as well as just fans of my work and fans of the books come out, and it was that I'll never forget that. Like looking on the stage and looking out and seeing all those folks was just amazing. I really shook me up. It was incredible.
Emotional, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you love writing, because you can impact so many people.
Not really.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I write books for me.
Okay.
And what I really like about writing is that spark that goes off in my head when I can change my own mind about something and come up with an unconventional result. I mean, most of the ideas I have for a book, I don't write. Probably 1 out of 100 ideas I have that are in some Evernote file somewhere that I don't write anything about, because I read somebody else's book and I said, oh, they've covered it. It's been done. I only write books about the topics that I want fixed for myself. That's what I enjoy writing most. Okay. I write books not because I know the answer. I write books because I want to know the answer, and that process is a lot of fun. I call it following my curiosity. That's why I love to write.
Yeah, it makes for good books too.
And frankly, you can't base, or at least I try not to. It's pretty hard to do, but I don't want to base my success on what other people think of my book. I wrote it for me. It was a success. And this is, by the way, when I advise companies. I do a lot of angel investing, and when I advise entrepreneurs on what kind of businesses they should start, I always tell them, you should not start a company to make a lot of money. If you start a business, if you write a book to make money, you're just bad at math, because the odds are so against you. However, if you build a product because you want the product to exist for yourself, you are the user, you have a massive advantage in business. Because the hardest part about building a great product, I would argue that in the same way writing a book is a product, is knowing your customer, knowing your user. Now, market size is almost impossible to predict, right? I think anybody who tells you, that a Facebook investor back in 2006 knew it would touch 1 in 7 people's lives on the face of the earth, they're lying to you. You can't estimate market size. Very, very difficult to do. So don't even try. What you should do is build a product for yourself, write a book for yourself, and if other people like it too, that's gravy. But if you don't make it financially, worst case scenario, you still won. You still succeeded because you built what you wanted. So I wrote the book I wanted. And if other people find it useful too, wonderful.
Yeah, that's helpful. Worst day?
Worst day. It's difficult to say worst day. It's a really tough question. It's kind of like that question of what do you wish you would have told your younger self?
That's coming later.
Okay, yeah. It's almost like in Back to the Future when Marty travels back in time, and if he goes back in time and changes something, then he wouldn't become the person he is today. it's all lessons, right?
Okay.
I've had many difficult days, but that's how you learn. That's how you gain life experience. So I think it's about, again, reimagining, reshaping, rethinking. Not that I haven't had some horrible days in my life. I mean, my problems in my marriage, problems in my business. I can tell you a list of days that were very challenging, but I think they helped me get to where I am today. So I'm grateful for those.
Yeah. What scares you?
What scares me recently is how easy untruths can spread. Things that are so simple answers scare me. That scares me. I think we live in a culture that really loves black and white, good versus evil, at the expense of nuance. And the fact of the matter is that the answer to every difficult problem is always the same. The answer is it depends. It depends, right? If it was really simple, we would have had the answer already. And I see that today, I think, with technology, that the media wants to paint good versus evil. Silicon Valley is addicting everyone, and these tech tools are this and that and the other. And that's just not nuance. It's not reality. Reality is so much more interesting. And yet, because we are cognitive misers, because people want to think to themselves, I know the answers, I don't have to do any more thinking for myself, that gets us into a lot of trouble. So simple answers scare me.
Yeah, no, they should. It's really well put as well. What would we be surprised to learn about you, besides the pistol squats and the barefoot running? Or maybe you could talk about that.
What would we be surprised? So, I mean, that is something that we have in common. I think that it's not very conventional, that physical health is very important to us, but I think we both kind of look at it a little differently in terms of how we build physical health. That, to me, it's not about how many push-ups I can do or how much I can bench press or whatever it might be. For me, it's really about the skills that I can build in my body for the rest of my life. I mean, I want to live to be over 100. That's my dream. I don't want to leave this planet. I love it here. And so I want to take care of my body so that I can do what I can do at 41, I can do at 101. And so I'm very much focused on these body weight exercises like handstands. I've been working on getting a handstand right for over a year. Not quite there yet. And pistol squats and muscle ups and these body weight movements, which I guess you are as well.
Yeah, I'm playing with that stuff too. And it's just, it's a long timeline for those. So it takes a certain type of mindset for that, which is kind of fun.
And they all look so easy, right? You see other people doing it and you say, I could totally do that.
Yeah. I know you're a fan of Ido Portal and he has these videos he puts on where he calls them basics. And so for him, a basic is like, a handstand or like a muscle up or these things that it will take you years to do. But when his students post them, it's the basics. Which it's kind of always funny. But
and it always looks so simple, right? A handstand. How hard is it to do a handstand? Big deal.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It is simple, just not easy. And you also barefoot run as well.
Right. So I've been barefoot running for many years. That's actually, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Remember I told you how I like to feel the wind in my hair.
Yeah.
Barefoot running, actually, I started because of the sensual experience of that experience. So that, and I used to get a lot of shin splints and knee injuries, and I don't get those anymore because I barefoot run. And I'm not dogmatic about it. I don't think everyone should do it. I, in particular, whenever I would try and run, not only was I not in cardiovascular shape, I couldn't get into cardiovascular shape because of all these injuries whenever I would try. Probably some of it was because I used to have that mentality of no pain, no gain, and I would accept discomfort and pain where you shouldn't have pain when you run. And so by becoming a barefoot runner, that pain has gone away from me.
Yeah, I just had a guy named Tony Riddle in here who did 800 and some odd miles across the UK in 30 days. It was all over 30 miles a day, every day.
Wow.
And he talked about that sensory experience that we just don't have anymore, of just feeling the environment, which connect us with the world and the environment. And it affects a lot of our decisions that we make about the world. So there's a lot of deep stuff going on there.
Right, and not, I'm sometimes I hate sports metaphors, but there is something here around, using willpower and self-control and self-discipline. Like, you can theoretically run correctly with shoes on, but instead of, you really have to think about it. You have to think, at least for me, I used to heel strike, and so I'd have to think, okay, don't do that, do this. And all that thinking, it's like self-control, it's like self-discipline, it's telling yourself what to do. Whereas if you build a system, If you build an environment, if you take off your shoes, you cannot run incorrectly. You can't heel strike, it hurts.
Right.
And so there's an automatic mechanism there to self-correct.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm gonna look into this more. I'm gonna get some lessons soon.
But if you don't have pain, I don't think everyone should do it necessarily. You need just like I say, look, if you don't feel distracted, right? If you do everything you want to do every day, and you're accomplishing what you say you're going to accomplish, and you don't have a problem with distraction, you don't need to read Indistractable. I struggled with this problem, was looking for a solution, and the same goes with why I started barefoot running. It's not something I'd recommend to everybody, but I would recommend it to folks who perhaps have these injuries that they're looking to overcome.
Yeah, I want to try it just to do it.